Hello everyone. It's James again. And today I want to talk about something important. And it's a combination of when narcissistic abuse makes you angry at yourself. And the update of this channel. As both topics actually go hand in hand. So the other day, I did a video about how being angry at your narcissistic abuser and the fact they are able to get away with what they did to you. With seemingly no punishment. No accountability. Or no acknowledgement as to what they actually did to you. And this anger starts to breed evil thoughts in your mind. And you start thinking all kinds of evil and dark thoughts. And before you know it, you are almost thinking like the narcissist. Because the goal for the narcissist is to change you. To either make you sick and die. Or to turn you into something that you weren't or aren't. And they suck off of the narcissistic supply. Like the emotional vampires they are. And understanding this fact and saying to yourself, you know, the longer I stay angry. And to digress a moment. Anger. And moments of being angry to pop up. No matter if you were narcissistically abused or not. It's a part of life. And our human makeup. But it's what we do with that anger. And how long we allow it to sit that matters. But if we say to oneself, the longer I stay angry, the more it's going to wear down my health. And prevent me from moving forward to actually pursue a meaningful life. Which is actually something else the narcissist has a goal of. And that's to keep you stuck in this loop of anger and frustration. Where you don't move forward and try or even attempt to have a meaningful life. Because the narcissist sees that spark of life and ability and success in your eyes. The thing is, they don't want you to see it. And they don't want you to know it's there within you. So they do everything they can to throw a monkey wrench in your life. And for us to just go along with getting angry, frustrated, and spinning our wheels until our wheels stop spinning and we are no longer on this earth. And knowing all of this allows us to not get caught up in the trap. And this evil cycle. And if we do get caught up by mistake, we can do what we can to quickly exit such a situation. Now there's something key in what I just said. And if we do get caught up by mistake. And this is something that happens not just when dealing with a narcissist. Or narcissistic abuse. But in other areas of life. And sadly what this produces is a feeling of fear. And a feeling of anger towards oneself. I, like many of you, were so angry I let my mother rope me into the things she did. I was even upset at myself. Looking back and not seeing things as a child. And just ignoring her the best I could and getting out of the house faster. I thought of all of the things that I could have accomplished. Only if I just. And you can fill in the blank. I felt the same way with Susie. My ex-narcissist as well. And I can't promise I won't ever feel those things in the future. Because I very well might. The tapes might pop up after a few years. And say, hey James. We are here to visit you again. But it's up to you and I to not let the self-anger take us over. And ruin our lives. And to understand things for what they were and what they are. Most of us grew up in such a toxic home. And we were trained and groomed for our roles since we could barely walk and talk. So our reactions were things that were induced and trained. Like a circus animal. And when you start looking at it like that, you can start to say, hey, I had no knowledge back then of what was happening. And I can't stay in this loop of anger. Because that's what my abuser wants for my life. I'm going to move forward and do the best I can. I know it's hard. I struggle sometimes. Sometimes life is great and my thinking is super positive. And other times the tapes are playing. And I start to doubt myself. I get angry at myself for not doing things differently. Or making better life choices. Regarding dealing with a narcissist and in life in general. But what is that self-anger getting me? Well, it will make me sick. And it will prevent me from taking the time I need to use to move forward. And that time will be spent just being angry. So how does this relate to my channel? So as many of you may know, I've been on YouTube for about 10 years. About 8 years of that on the partnership program. YouTube was much different back then. Much different. Back then I was so happy. I was able to reach people with what I went through. And helping people avoid the same narcissistic traps I fell into. Giving back was and is a good feeling. But because I was on the YouTube partnership program, I was making money for my work. And I never made a ton of money on this. Some years better than others. But I'm going to tell you in the beginning, even though it wasn't much. Because I'm not a rich man financially. There were many times these small amounts greatly helped out with something I had to pay that might have been a big struggle or impossible otherwise. I felt so blessed. Then we fast forward to about 2 years ago. And I think that's when things were the best. And I bet many smaller to medium-sized YouTubers would agree. Though I wasn't making money to fully live off of, it was way better than when I started. And that money really did help. Again, things came up in my life that without that money, it would have been either a horrible struggle or completely impossible. But I was putting out honest content from my heart. And the money was there. And I never felt a sense of fear. Or scared it would be gone. And that's not to say I was thinking it would always be there and I was living accordingly. But I didn't have a fear it would be gone either, if that makes sense. Now I did way back when. Look at other platforms. Just because. But didn't do much with what I found. And continued on with YouTube. Fast forward to about a year ago. And things started to get a bit weird on YouTube. There was the big pulling of ads from certain advertisers. Because there was some bad, I mean really bad videos out there with ads on them. And when all of this happened, many of us YouTubers' revenue dropped to about half. I had never asked for money before. I had never had a Patreon. And tried to make it with the lesser amount. But because of things that happened during that good time of YouTube, namely medical bills, and other expenses surrounding that were pretty much out of my control, became hard to keep up with. Not impossible, but a bit more difficult. So I finally said to myself a handful of months ago, let me get a Patreon. And see if people will donate on their own. And many of you did and are. And I'm so thankful for that. Every single day. I'm thankful for that. Now during the last year, there were some weird things going on with YouTube. And as I mentioned before, that I heard there might be some problem with animation. But then I heard, and I could be wrong, that there wasn't a problem. Because how would disabled people or other people be able to be part of the partnership program? And I could have heard it wrong. But that's what I believe I heard. So the only thing I was aware of is less ad revenue. Due to advertisers pulling ads from the YouTube platform. That's all I knew. I didn't know that YouTubers were losing their partnership program left and right. I had no clue. And this is where the self-anger comes into play. James, why didn't you work harder at building up another platform way back when? James, why didn't you stay up more in what was going on with YouTube? Instead of letting this hit you on the blind side? James, why didn't you do this? James, why didn't you do that? These are the things that were heavily playing through and in my head. So much so I couldn't think straight as to what I'm going to do. And that's how we stay in the toxic loop. No matter it's me dealing with YouTube and what's going on there. Or we are dealing with a narcissist in our life. Or maybe the narcissist has been out of our life for 20 years. Those feelings of self-anger keep us anchored into the ground. Unable to move forward. So what do we do about it? We realize it. We realize it. We start to understand what we are doing to ourselves is another form of abuse. And just like we had to work to get away from the abuser in your life, now we need to work to get away from abusing ourselves. Look. Regarding this channel, I can't make any promises. I can't. But what I can say is I'm going to try my best to move forward. Sure, there are things I should have seen and should have done. So if something like this happened, I would already be up and running somewhere else. But I didn't. I can't take that back. I can't go back in time. All I can do is see it as the cost of learning. It's the tuition paid through by life mistakes. And there is nothing to beat yourself up about not knowing something. And not understanding something. Even when it comes down to someone abusing you. I want you to understand that. And I want you to get up today and do something positive for your life. Write something down you want to achieve and work hard towards that goal. Because you are worth it. And these life goals won't happen if you are unable to move forward because you are stuck in your anger. But know these feelings might pop up. Just know what they are when they do pop up. So you can better work yourself free from such energy-draining feelings and emotions. So how are I and we going to move forward here? Well, I have some ideas. Things I'm working on. Because right now, I'm still in communication with YouTube, if you want to call it that. And things aren't going well. It's a lot of sending me links to things that don't apply to my channel. So one doesn't know what to fix because none of the things they say I and a great many other YouTubers are actually violating. They just say to reapply after the 30 days is up. But reapply to get denied? If it's denied now, wouldn't it be denied then? And there are other YouTubers hit by this. Many that make non-narcissistic abuse videos. So they are in all types. Some channels that have 300,000 or 500,000 subscribers. And they've said the same thing. Everything that is listed of how to be in compliance sounds like their channel. But the things that they are accused of violating, they aren't doing. So the entire thing is just a mess. And can make one angry. But I can't stop and we can't stop. So I will be still talking with YouTube about this. But I am looking at other alternatives and possibilities. But if I do end up somewhere else, I will probably stay here too. Simply because I'm easy to find. And it's possible if things keep on getting worse on YouTube, they might be forced to change. Just to save the platform. But they might not. Who knows? But I want to be prepared either way. And trying to learn from the past instead of being angry at it. With that said, if I do end up somewhere else, that might mean if you do want to support me over there, wherever there is, that might mean you signing up to an account there. So you can comment, like and subscribe. And so we can keep the communication going. And if you did that, I would appreciate it a lot. Because besides the things that my YouTube revenue paid for, that was and is important in my life. It first and foremost paid to allow me to make these videos. And without the revenue it's going to make it hard. So if I can generate revenue somewhere else, that means I can put it back into making more content. That will hopefully allow more people to wake up to narcissistic abuse. And other things about the life that we are all living. With that said, if you haven't subscribed here, please still do. Like, comment and subscribe. And if you can donate and support this channel and its mission on Patreon, I would greatly appreciate it. Because I don't know how soon it will take YouTube to fix their problems. And or how quick a transition to another platform or platforms will be. But I can promise you this. I will work hard to do what I can do to keep this channel moving forward to the next level and beyond. And I want to do for my life as well. The life the Creator gave me. And please promise me you will do the same for yourself too. With that said, I do hope everyone's day is blessed. And until next time, bye for now. And be good to yourself.